from my heart to yours, from my ancestors to yours. Welcome to the year of the fire horse. Happy Chinese New Year. Happy Lunar New Year. To understand where we are now at with the fire horse, it's very helpful to understand where we've been coming from. I've spoken about it before, but we have been in, the wood dragon year of 2024 and the wood snake year of 2025. So these 2 years have been crucial in human consciousness. I mean, every astrologist, so many indigenous cultures have prophesized this moment in time of great awakening and great change. In many indigenous cultures, we understand human consciousness and this earth plane to really manifest in cycles. We have cycles of darkness, we have cycles of light. And we, my friends, have been coming out of hundreds of years of darkness. And we are at the precipice of a more golden age that we are all a part of. Now, what does light do? It illuminates what has been hidden. It illuminates what needs love, what is still shackled by fear. And really, I just want to acknowledge that this level of geopolitical upheaval and crisis that we are in, it is so beyond what we can see just with our physical eyes. We are in a multi-dimensional churning, a great tension of forces. I am not someone who likes to see everything as black or white, left or right. Well, I believe that through a lens of tantric dance, opposites serve one another. In some way, light initiates dark just as much as dark initiates light. And we truly would not know one without the other. Contrast teaches us of ourselves. And so we are really, really seeing the mirror of ourselves. We're seeing where in our own human psyche we've been fragmented, we've been fractured, and this is rooted in a multi-dimensional tension between opposites. It is not just the human level. We are talking about spiritual technologies, ancient scrolls, codes, and implants that have been placed upon human consciousness, that have been malwiring, that have really inverted and made this world and made this earth plane upside down town. Because my God is so much of our world and our culture and the powers that be and who leads and who holds the most money and the most power in this world. Could it not be more upside down? Especially when we look at the way that we treat women and children. How is that not upside down? So truly, there is a great reversal of malwiring, a great recoding of human consciousness that a lot of us are a part of, and a lot of us are going to be awakening to. And so the years of the wood dragon and the wood snake, we're weaving a lot here, but wood is all about, the future. It's architecting the future. And so what has not been sustainable for the future, what cannot come with us for future generations, what is a disgrace to the human spirit had to become known these last 2 years because it was shedding time, serpentine shedding time, so powerful. I just give thanks completely to the years of the wood dragon and the wood snake. The level of recognition I have for what a time for the architects and builders it has been for those of us who have really, really been tending to things that we've been building, our businesses, our projects, our relationships, our future families, our health. We've been tending so much, and we must give honor to that level of tending. It's been a very humbling time to reconcile with our own attachment systems, parts of us, and, adaptations and fear-based beliefs or survival based patterns that we've normalized on a cultural level, on an ancestral level, that had to come to a close this year. We had to really, really understand that we have the power to choose beyond what we've normalized, and to really understand that we end up manifesting and repeating that which we've normalized. So these last 2 years is a great pattern disrupt of the highest order and of the deepest foundational roots. So it's really created a powerful moment, right? Because here we are in 2026, the year of the fire horse. And what follows the fire horse will be the fire goat. And I'll speak a little bit more about where those energies sort of intersect and how one feeds the next. But fire horse, I want you to just envision a horse that's been caged, and the stable gates swing open and it just wants to go, because a horse was never meant to be caged in the first place. It's giving wild horse energy. It's giving spirit made visible, spirit made embodied, dream and destiny made manifest. It's giving life force in motion, and it cannot be stopped, and we must get out of our own way. It's really giving momentous, bold, action oriented go time, especially those of us who have a prayer of really being a part of the great reculturing in all of our respective roles in the web of life. This is go time. The last 2 years, it was really cavey. It was very womby in that way of like, I'm kind of just disintegrating. Like, I don't know what I'm becoming. I am that caterpillar becoming goo. I have no freaking idea what it even means to be a butterfly on the other side, but apparently I'm designed for it. But I'm literally just going to let this process move me, and I'm going to surrender to it. And it's not going to be pretty, and I'm going to probably cry a lot. I'm probably going to not understand and sometimes even not trust my path because of how much change is being asked to be made. And it's been one of those really deep shedding and disintegrative times, like a dissolution of stuff, a death, phase of the death and rebirth process. So let's just say that we're in the big rebirth process. It is that horse flying through its stable. It is that phoenix rising from the ashes, and everything that we've been prepared for is going to move really quickly. I want us to understand the quickness of time, especially nonlinear time of this year. There is going to be such a quickening where opportunities, soul contracts, callings, inspirations, things that are asking to be birthed and created through you are wanting to move quickly, are wanting to happen in totality because of how much we've been in that more deathy decay time, and how much it feels like, like I've actually built a capacity to show up in my life and be more visible and be more free in my embodiment and my impact in this world and my presence in my community, in my family, in my body, in my life. It's very horse energy in that way. Like, horses know they're beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, horses are not afraid of being seen, are not afraid of being felt as they are. They're so majestic, so beautiful. And fire is spirit made visible. It is alchemical. It is the great transmuter, the great purifier. Like, all I'm saying is there's nothing but power and visibility and taking up space and dominion in the dharma and the destiny that you have been designed for. And wherever you've questioned that in the last 2 years, it's going to be more clear than ever that there is nothing more to question. But the thing is here, so important. So fire horse is what precedes fire goat. Notice how even a goat's stature is closer to the earth, it's closer to the ground. When I think of goat, I think of Capricorn energy, which is incredibly practical. My mom and my sister are Capricorns. I know Capricorn energy. I love Capricorn energy. They are the grounded stewards. They're the ones, feet in the earth, hands in the dirt, actually making it happen, actually embodying, the virtue. Like whatever we stand for, let it actually be lived through us through daily devotion, through the way that we speak, through the way that we relate, through the way that we maintain integrity to our own souls and to, a greater destiny that is calling us, the way that we orient and stay on track and stay disciplined and devoted to that. Capricorn energy, fire goat energy is really the culmination of fire horse and the bold action, that quickness, the urgency for change energy that is sweeping through all of us on a global scale, the uprising, the knowing that we are in a revolutionary time. Imagine that 2027 is when it grounds itself more, right? Because it's Capricorn, it's goat energy. So imagine that 2027 is when some of these big changes actually crystallize because we have the right containers that we were building this year to hold this new consciousness and these changes. That does not mean that this year is about trying to get it right, trying to make everything perfect. The truth is, sometimes fire is not contained. Sometimes fire can burn everything in its wake. There's a difference between a fire that burns. There's just a difference between a fire that keeps warm. There's a difference between a fire that is pointed, directed, guided, and has a vessel to hold it, right? So if we can see that 2026 is a preparation for the level of real lived integrated changes that we will see on a world scale through technology, through politics, through leadership, through innovation, so much innovation that we can't even fathom with our current state of mind or perception. So that level of change that is waiting to integrate and land itself in 2027 and beyond, right? All of the way that change will begin to crystallize itself more. I want you to see that 2026 and the fire horse is preparation, and it's also the level and potency of revolutionary change, revolutionary fire, and bold, courageous impact that is needed to ignite that level of integration and practical change that will follow suit in 2027. You don't get to integrated change without the spark. You don't get to practical embodied changes on a collective, cultural, and even local community-based way without the bold change makers, the fire horses that are going to be igniting the need for change. The revolutionary uprising energy is just so important that we understand that that's, bold, swift action, and the need for urgent change does not always mean longevity or sustainability. It doesn't always mean the most mature or wise pointed flame. Sometimes it's a flame that simply needs to erupt because of how bad it's gotten, right? How sick we are of what is no longer sustainable. But the point is, how are we really going to find the right vessels to hold this level of spirit made visible, this level of embodied change? But this year is the ignition point. If the last 2 years was about the shedding and the letting go of the old cycles, so we could even get to this place, then this year is a humble reckoning of, wow, where am I being lifted into in this incarnation that I've been given? What is my role in the web of life? What am I passionate and enthusiastic about creating and tending to in my life? Who do I want to do that with? What type of sustainable long-term relationships and quality of relationships am I here to really be a part of and open my heart to? This level of change that's wanting to integrate with us for the long term must start with the seed, must start with the spark. And so you're going to see so much birthing of projects. You're going to see budding of new soul contracts and new connections, and the way that God and land and spirit is going to keep maneuvering and like bringing together these souls at the right conjunctions, in the right gatherings, in the right opportunities. You're going to see a lot of fresh, new timeline energy because we've shed in order to prepare for this. And we just need to let that level of fire and that level of inspiration, that level of calling to move us. It's the horse that simply wants to run free, and we don't need to know exactly where we're going. We just need to get on and come along for the ride. Deep, deep surrender energy, bold, swift, courageous action is called upon. Sit with what that truly means to you. It means something different for all of us. And I know for me that I've been working on a project that I have not announced to anyone outside of my closest people in my life. And it is the type of legacy that there were versions of me that thought would never be possible. Like, who, me? Like, could I really birth something like that? And over the last 3 years, at every stage and phase of this project, I have been given things that make absolutely no sense when you try to process reality through ego or analytical mind, but that make absolute sense to the spirit and a greater destiny that we all know lives inside of us. And so these mirrors, these points, these checkpoints of, wow, no, this is becoming real. This is becoming more real. Every single person needing to be involved is showing up. All of the opportunities are here. There is a great awareness, just to make my story sort of land for those listening, that I know that 2026 is all of the planning and the strategy of this vision, whereas 2027 is the actual implementation of it, right? And so this 2026 year is as if that some of your greatest dreams and some of your greatest legacy projects, your greatest bodies of work are really ready to pop. They're germinating. They're wanting to come through you. So now, how do you let that energy move you in a good way? How do you get out of your own way? And how do you set the right containment so that the fire can be a pointed fire, a disciplined fire, a strategic fire, a mature fire, right? How do you use this sacred time of spiritual ignition and undeniable inspiration and courage to really lead you towards that more sustainable Capricorn fire goat year where things actually really crystallize and land? So yeah, feel free to take this time to really plan. Feel free to take this time to really train, to really refine your craft, to really keep opening your voice, to keep finding how to translate energy and translate your soul into offerings and into art and into service. Find the right containers, short-term and long-term strategy to see through this greater dharma that is of a lifetime that wants to live through, that is a North Star for the rest of your life, and go at it at a pace that really inspires longevity and sustainability, not burning out, right? Because when we're so urgent, or when that fire is so big that it overwhelms our own systems, or it takes us out of our own bodies, or we end up having, mental health crises because it's so massive, this amount of change. This is why we need to have that mature pointed fire. We need to be able to ground all of this energy. We need to build capacity on a somatic level, nervous system based level to hold these new belief systems, to let new parts of us lead, even if we haven't been comfortable having those parts of us lead because we've had more survival based parts leading, right? We're building our capacity to see ourselves as the ones that are living in the identity of the one who leads and stewards that level of creative work or that level of impact or that level of partnership and family. You might even be unrecognizable to some and even to yourself, and yet the crystal clear truth of who you are, the precise truth of who you are, will be more recognizable than ever because we've shed the not self. And now it's really about spirit made visible. If I could encapsulate this 2026 Fire Horse year with one word, it would be embodiment. First and foremost, inhabiting our bodies, which is actually so anti colonial because all of those colonial demons, all of those imprints and technologies that sever us from our source really want to traumatize us and keep us out of our bodies. Really wants to keep us in survival mode, wants us to be so urgent and moving at a pace in which overwhelms our systems and keeps us in constant states of stress, which then causes our health to decline. And when you're in survival mode, when you're stressed out, when you're out of body, it's really hard to even begin to consider a life of thriving. If you are in survival, how can you thrive? If you are always moving at a pace beyond your nervous system's capacity, then you're always trying to play catch up with life, but then you're a servant. You are a slave to the external world. If we cannot inhabit our own bodies and magnetize life, direct and guide life to come meet us where we are at, we don't need to keep leaving our bodies to chase the external. If we cannot learn to maintain anchor and steadiness and security within, we will be compromised. We will be confused. We will be swept up in the confusing energies of this matrix. The greatest sovereign decision we can make is to live a life that allows us to fully be in a coherence with our bodies, our intuition, and our deep knowing. And when you make decisions from that place, it will surprise you what you're a no to. It will surprise you maybe what you're a yes to. But when you really decide and choose and relate from this place, from a place of safety, and you refuse to let any government or any collective entity or any generational pattern to make you feel disconnected from your own resourcefulness, you are rewiring and changing the nervous system of the planet. You are changing the way that children will come into this planet. They will know security and safety and wholeness because of what we learn to embody now. And yeah, in that same way of speaking of embodiment, we are not looking to the external to know our values and virtues. We're not looking to spiritual leaders or people we've put on a pedestal or government leaders at that. My God, if you're still worshiping that, that's insane. We just can't. We just cannot anymore. We can't externalize the teachings. We can't externalize the spiritual initiations outside of us. We can't like read books about it or hear how, this guru did that or, what saint did this. You are becoming the guru. You are becoming the saint. Okay. We are the Christ consciousness. We are the Buddha consciousness. We are the God consciousness, finding its wakefulness through the body, through our speech, through our minds, through our systems, through our relationships, through the actions that we take. Fire horse year, action, baby. We are being asked to embody what it is that we'd like to see in the world. There is no one coming to save us. And that is the greatest shamanic initiation of the soul, when you realize that everything that you pray for, everything that you wish for the world, everything you wish for those who come after us is actually asking to be realized within yourself, to be acted through and lived through you. We are that powerful. The fire horse is that bold, and it's really, really asking us to embody what we want to see. And do you see how with embodiment, nothing will ever be the same? Do you see how when we as souls who are beginning to crack through the illusory ways that this matrix and this world has been designed, and you begin to realize the God consciousness, creator consciousness that observes all of it, but is not a part of it, can actually crack it and rework it from the inside out? When you're walking with that level of stewardship as a soul, that level of devotion to your brothers and sisters, that level of devotion to being an example and a leader, do you see how nothing in the world will ever be the same? Because we are waking up sleeping giants. I want you to see that your multi-dimensional self, those beings, those dragons, those galactics, those angels, those archangels, those elementals, those spirits of the land, those directions, and really all of the higher forces that are a part of our teams, that work with us, that protect us, that guide us. If you knew the magnitude of the spiritual protection in the big giant beasts that we really are, outside of these biological spacesuits, outside of this temporary and yet beautiful, incredible technology. But if you could know your spiritual power and what you're truly connected to, this world would never be the same. You know, we often pray to these guides outside of us, and I believe that if we could hear their prayer, all they would pray for is that we realize that we are them, that when we pray to them, we are praying to ourselves, that actually we are the hands of the invisible, that those spiritual virtues and the spiritual forces that we all care so deeply about, that we enter ceremony for, that we call upon in times of need, that we pray for, that level of consciousness is asking to be realized in an embodied, practical level, which is really the era of the new human. Never before have we been able to walk with a capacity where so many of us feel more human than ever, and actually also more non-human than ever. The paradox, that tension of opposites existing at once. Never before have I felt more human and also non-human. Never before have I felt more like my branches can truly reach up to the highest heavens, like to the ancient scrolls behind reality, to the higher forces that made all of us, to our maker, and at the same time never feel more rooted and normal and regular and regulated and calm and living at a pace that my body and my human enjoys. That is the work here. And really all of this work, the lineage work, the legacy work, the embodiment work, the generational healing work is really at the heart of what we do at the Center of Destiny. You know, the Center of Destiny is not just a podcast. And I so look forward to those of you who connect with me beyond this podcast, who visit thecenterofdestiny.com and really come to find the many avenues of support that we offer. And you can always start with a consultation. And really, the Center of Destiny is here to serve the intersection of love and legacy. It's really here to empower the evolutionary couples and evolutionary partnerships that are waiting to come into union as the planet is more ready for evolutionary love than it has ever been, and to really, at a nervous system level, understand how we attract and sustain that level of love. Firstly, from reconciling within and understanding that so much of our relational patterns just simply need updated information, that simply need new stories. And you never understand the power of what you attract when you update the information within. And the other side of this is legacy. We are currently working with visionaries, practitioners, thought leaders, people who have been in their business for decades, people who are just at the precipice of birthing their business. Really, at the Center of Destiny, we are a multidimensional incubator that works at a somatic level, an embodiment level, but also in a strategy level, in a business level, in a marketing level, to really help those visionaries that are here to birth the next evolution of their legacy, their creative service, their sustainable and successful business in a way that is generative to themselves, those that they serve, and the planet, and to really, from all directions, support and sustain that level of sharing and offering in the world by really, really mastering and understanding the soul of your business and how the soul of your business is wanting to express itself, and to find the right containers that can actually really hold the magnitude of what you're here to birth, because sometimes it can be so overwhelming, which is why grounded strategy, containment, direction, guidance, and accountability is so important when we're deciding to really walk this path. And so in that way, there's really a microcosm and a macrocosm here, because what we're speaking to is fire horse. It's fire horse wants to move, but fire can destroy. What would it mean for fire not to destroy, but for fire to simply ignite, alchemize, and birth, new worlds? And first, that fire needs to find its guidance and direction. So we end in a prayer around the fire horse year. May this year lead and guide us all in great passion, in great enthusiasm, in great trust and surrender. May we have the courage to get on the horse and let it take us where our destiny is taking us. May we leave behind what we left behind in the year of the wood snake, and truly, with honor and grace, bring those energies truly to their completion because they no longer serve. May we prepare for the potency of the fire goat in 2027, when our dreams and our visions and our creative works and our relationships crystallize and really land in practicality. And may we understand where we are now in the center of our own destiny, a great preparation period and a great embodiment period. May we understand that at the heart of our dreams and our visions is our embodiment. It's who is the one that is walking it, who is the one that is deciding and choosing, who is the one that is holding the soul of what you're here to create and being the steward of it. It's really who is the one in the relationship, who is the one tending. It's all about looking within right now. It's really about healing, looking to the outside or needing the external world to inform you of who you are or what is possible. And it's really going deep within to claim what you are, to claim who you've come to be, to trust the godlike force that you are, and to trust that this is your ultimate destiny that you've been preparing for, that your ancestors have prayed into, and that your soul, before you incarnated, knew you would eventually remember and now fully embody. Thank you for listening to the Center of Destiny podcast. I'm your host, Tara Dow. Love you all. Happy Lunar New Year. Happy Chinese New Year. Welcome to 2026, the year of the fire horse.